Bwana.tv is sponsored by Skype.
Hello, this is Bwana from Bwana.tv, and today I want to talk about a company that's going out of business that was pretty much a staple in a lot of people's lives in order to get computer hardware and software. The company is called CompUSA, and it's a United States company that specializes in selling computer parts and software and everything to do with your computer. Back in the early or late 90s, when computer stores weren't all that prominent, I mean, you had to rely on places like CompUSA in order to get if you had a blown power supply, and you didn't have a mom and pop computer shop like a lot of the places on the West Coast have, and I believe some places in Texas have these areas too. But like in places like here in Florida, you had to rely on CompUSA in order to get that stuff. Problem is that compared to the online offerings, CompUSA usually had a pretty hefty price premium. They would jack up their prices probably 10-20% above what you can get if you could wait on a delivery. But you had that instant gratification, which kind of made it worth it. They also sold video games. They sold printers, and I think they had some appliances in some store. But one of the big things CompUSA did that a lot of people don't know today who haven't visited one is that they had an Apple store inside of the CompUSA. So this was really the first time that Apple basically positioned themselves inside of a chain in order to sell their products. Other than that, before that you had to be an authorized Apple reseller to sell Apple products. But they had like a little island inside the store, and they sold Apple products, and they had an Apple employee inside of the CompUSA selling those products. And that was a good thing, because that's where I got my first Mac. Now, on that story, now we can talk about some of the bad things about CompUSA. When I got that first Mac, it didn't work. I got kernel panics and all kinds of things, and thus spawned my really bad experiences with CompUSA customer service. I had to argue with the manager for almost an hour and a half that yes, this computer is faulty. Mac OS X is not supposed to kernel panic out of the box. It just doesn't happen. There's a problem with the hardware. He didn't believe me. He thought I was trying to scam him. I'm like, dude, I dropped $4,500 plus on this computer. It's my dual 800 that I still have, my dual 800 G4, and he didn't believe me. So I had to get the Apple salesman who sold me the computer to vouch for me and tell him that this is indeed a faulty computer. They couldn't reproduce it because it was random. I mean, you'd have the computer up and running and it would do it, and they couldn't reproduce it because they turn it on, run it for 5 seconds, and then turn it off and say, oh, it works. No. So once I got this guy to do it, they switched it out, gave me a brand new one, and I haven't had problems since. Since then, I've had a slew of just bad customer experience with CompUSA, all kinds of things. And finally, I think about 3 years ago, I got fed up, and I wrote a lengthy blog post on why I was just never going to go to CompUSA again, because it was just ridiculous. My wife and I were sitting there waiting 30 minutes for somebody to come open a cabinet so we can get a video card out. That was it. We got fed up. So we haven't been back really since. I think I've been back one time, maybe 1 or 2 times, but we haven't been back since. And she feels the same way about it that I do. And it looks like we're not the only ones. I mean, because they've been doing really bad business-wise. They had an investor come in and try to save them late, but now they're going out of business and they're going to liquidate all their stores. So I guess we can say RIP CompUSA. And I'm not going to say the bad customer service is what did it, but it certainly did not. It certainly didn't contribute to your lack of success. So if all these other companies, Best Buy and Circuit City, are listening, those are the big 2 chains. I mean, you got Fry's and you got Future Shop in Canada and all these other people. If you're listening, customer service matters. Okay, treat your customers with respect, and just don't just don't do what CompUSA did, because you're going to lose customers and you might pay in the end. All right, this is Bwana from Bwana.tv saying so long, CompUSA.
Bwana.tv is sponsored by Skype. With Skype, you can make calls to ordinary phones using Skype Out for cheap rates. Use the link in the show notes to purchase Skype Out products.